indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence for the men and women in the armed forces, our first responders, our veterans, those fighting the good fight in Ukraine, and those suffering from military conflicts in the Middle East and worldwide. Thank you. America's Creed, Katie.
America's Creed by William Tyler Page. I believe in the United States of America as a government of the people, by the people, for the people, whose just powers are derived from the people, governed in democracy,
The Republic, a sovereign nation of many sovereign
states.
states, a perfect union of one and inseparable, established upon the principles of freedom, equality, justice, and humanity, for which American patriots
Sacrifice their lives and fortunes.
I
Therefore believe it is my duty to my country to love it, to support its Constitution, to obey its laws, to respect its flag, and to defend it against all enemies.
Thank you. And Joe, public comment.
Good evening. I have please concurrently Lynn Webster. When you come up to the microphone, please state your name and your address, please.
Good evening. My name is Lynn Webster. I'm the chairman of the Conservation Commission for the town of New Milford. And I would like to, our commission has come up with comments having to do with the proposed, but since put on hold, project, but we would still like to make comments to that point. I'm going to read you from a document that we have sent actually to the mayor, and he has a copy. This is the mission statement of the New Milford Conservation Commission, and will explain why we serve our town. To assist the town of New Milford in preserving its quality of life by promoting the importance of land preservation in collaboration with other land use boards through education of the public and the acquisition and preservation of open space that is environmentally sensitive, aesthetically pleasing, and culturally important. Now I'm going to speak to the proposed Flatiron Energy Treebird storage battery energy storage system facility. After speaking with and listening to several taxpayers and civic groups within the New Milford community, the Conservation Commission has several concerns with the proposed Flatiron Energy Treebird storage project that has been put forth for the property that is owned by Aspatuck Farms LLC. The property/site is located along the western side of the Aspatuck Ridge Road and the intersection of Wells Road. There are three pieces that are zoned as such, one for active adult community, one is an R40, and the other is R40, with a total of 101.74 acres. Not all of these acres are the proposed physical footprint of the current project, but there is an option in the works for the company to buy all of the acres. One of the main concerns that we have is that the West Aspatuck River runs through two of the three lots and is well within reach of the third. The river is an essential resource for the surrounding community for both human, animal, and plant life. All three lots that fall under the proposed site are covered by the FEMA 100 and 500-year flood zones. The flood zones were last mapped in 1987, and with the change in weather patterns since then, the chance for greater flooding has only increased, of which we, the community, have witnessed. One of the West Aspatuck River key features is the presence of riparian river buffers. There, in what I handed to the mayor, there is a website that you can go to about the article. The risk of fire is a real risk, as numerous examples of thermal runaway across the United States have shown. The event would not be a normal house or brush fire. These batteries present a whole new level of toxic air event that would, not could, spread downwind from the site directly to the homes along Wellsville Avenue and the very center of New Milford. The bandstand on the town green is only 1.31 miles away as the crow flies. The wind that blows 95% of the time in New Milford comes from the northwest by west, and the surrounding hills will funnel the toxic smoke directly toward the town green. The toxic fallout would affect the very heart of our town. Add to this, the company will not allow the local fire professionals to fight any fire until the company expert arrives on site. And they currently are an hour away from New Milford.
Forgive me, you're nearing the 1 minute,
Ah,
yeah,
I have 1 minute left?
you do, there's a 5-minute limit.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
We're concerned about the water runoff that might happen in such an event and get into the river, as we've had problems in the past with other things that have gotten into the river, i.e. GE up north, and the paint company that was where Lover's Leap is, and it takes years and years for these to be repaired.
Just tell them to read it.
Hmm?
Just tell them to read it.
Yeah, if you, it is something that you have, and if you could read the entire thing, I would appreciate it very much, and thank you for your time.
They'll go in the minutes. They'll go in the minutes as well, so they'll be in the minutes if people want to see in the town.
How much more time do you have?
2 pages.
Pardon me?
How much more time do you have?
I have,
I'll yield my time to you. Go ahead.
So it's 3 pages.
I can't hear you.
How much time is your time?
5 time.
Oh.
5 minutes.
He's
Okay.
giving you his 5 minutes, so you can go ahead.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Did you sign up?
Concerning the ever-presence of constant low-level, but yet, oh, let me get back. Now that you're giving me time.
5 minutes.
Concerning the quality of life of citizens of New Milford who have decided to live here, enjoy a great many of the citizens live in this country for the peace and quiet. Now the concern is that there are reports that during the evening, yes, okay, the batteries would produce a constant noise of 70 dB, a range when charging and discharging. The normal voice is 66 dB, and yeah, go ahead if you want to finish.
Hi, I'm Mike Bird. I'm the Vice Chairman of the Conservation Commission. I'm the one who wrote this. One of the concerns we have is that the batteries would be charging and discharging during the nighttime. From what I understand, they would be at a 70 decibel level, which is a loud voice, and it's down in a valley, and all sound travels up, as you will know in this area. So they would hear it no matter how tall of a sound barrier would be there. And we live in the country. We like living in the country. It's quiet. We don't live on Route 7 or I-84. Also, the wind would be blowing from the north by northwest, so any sound would travel from the site to the condominiums and homes on Wells Avenue. The soil that is on these lots, which the best site would sit, is listed as Fortis farmland soils that are prime farmland soils. We understand that farming is not what it used to be in New Milford, but once the land has been cut down and bulldozed over, it can never be brought back to the state of that it took 1,000 years to produce. New Milford, by its very nature and by its location in the state, has always faced with a delicate balancing act between the benefits of nature and the needs of industrial growth. The East Aspetuck and West Aspetuck and Housatonic rivers have always been the main source of travel, food, fresh water, and from the early 1700s, power for the industrial growth of the community. In the first stages of community growth, water wheels and grindstones left no lasting footprint on the rivers and the surrounding communities. Starting in the mid-19th century, factories that caused significant environmental damage to the health and life force of our rivers came into being, and the results were devastating for years. She already mentioned the Bridgeport wood finishing paint manufacturing plant on the Housatonic River that not only left physical plant ruins, but also during its time in production and for years afterwards polluted the river. The Housatonic River has been polluted by the GE facility up in Pittsfield with PCBs. We are in the downstream floodplain of that, which is 140 miles, so we will have PCBs in our Housatonic River for generations. Think about forever chemicals. New Milford is the home to 138 landfill that may be closed to the garbage from the outside world, but the ramifications of what is buried there will last us for generations. Flatiron Energy does not care about the well-being of New Milford. It simply found a portion of our town that is under a high energy power lines and decided that it would be a good place to impose their expanding LLC corporation. The Flatiron Energy storage system is not a green energy producing operation that would benefit our town or the world beyond the borders of New Milford. We cannot be and will not be the cause of possible disastrous event that not only affects our town, but the towns and families that are in the downstream of New Milford. There is more to that, but you have a copy of this. If you want another copy, I have it, and I will leave it up here on the table for you. We are opposed to this for many reasons. If you would like to come to our Conservation Commission meeting, we meet every Wednesday, the first Wednesday of the month at the town hall downstairs, if you want to talk to us about it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Mike, are you the next person, Mike Bird, that was on the list?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, next up is Michael Kaufman. Please state your name and address when you come up to the podium.
Hello, I'm Michael Kaufman. I'm the president of the Northville Resident Association, and we represent 69 families and individuals, mostly in Northville, but not only there. And these folks that we represent have been very concerned about the issue that was just spoken about, the Flatiron Energy Project. And of course, a lot of these concerns are not new, and the letter that we submitted to you, Mr. Mayor, is very similar in concerns, and I'm not going to read all of it, but it splits into maybe 4 key areas, safety and fire risk being really one of them. And as we heard, within 100 feet, there's residential houses, there's a commercial property, the town is so close, and if a fire were to break out in these batteries, there would be a question if our firefighters could handle it, and if we're prepared, in addition to some regulations on how to fight these fires. So really, that's just a very major concern for us. Environmental impact and disruption of the local ecosystem, especially the waterway. The Class A river that is there, West Aspetuck River, potentially could be a source of drinking water, even if it's not needed now. If it were jeopardized, threatened, we lose a resource that is very valuable, in addition to the wildlife and all of that. The noise pollution we pointed out too, based on comparable sites that have these battery storages, there is some noise to the immediate neighbors. How far you can hear it, I don't know, but the people right next to it, I'm sure would be unhappy about it. And the residential properties that are close by, they're going to lose value or could potentially lose value if people don't find that road attractive anymore. So because of all of these reasons, and probably more, Northville Resident Association is really opposed to this and does not think it's a good idea for the town. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Barbara Mitchell.
Did a little adjustment here.
Step on the side so you can speak to the window.
Thank you. And I want to start by thanking all of you and Representative Harding and Representative Buckby who are here tonight. Thank you for all the hard work you do for our town.
Barbara, just your name and address, please.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Barbara Mitchell, 19 Creamery Road. I want to talk about the health issues. I mentioned it at our last meeting about cancer. And I mentioned that a simple Google search will reveal a great deal. And I'm just going to read it just a little bit. Lithium battery farms can pose health risks due to exposure to harmful materials like cobalt, which may lead to respiratory issues and potentially cancer. Additionally, incidents like battery fires can release toxic substance that may also contribute to health problems, including cancer risks. It's not limited to the people who are in the immediate residential area of this potential farm. It's all of New Milford, all of Brookfield, probably into, I know, Roxbury, Ridgewater, and potentially Southbury, and of course Northville. Health risks. The harmful material cobalt is a common component in lithium batteries. They've been linked to respiratory and cardiovascular diseases. There are concerns that exposure to cobalt and other heavy metals can increase the risk of cancer. While there is no direct evidence that lithium battery farms can cause batteries, the materials used and the potential for environmental contamination raise significant health concerns. Awareness of these risks is essential for making an informed decision. Lithium-ion batteries are known, according to fire safety research and hazardous materials guidance, to contain materials that can release toxic gases and fine particles when they burn, including hydrogen fluoride, carbon monoxide, volatile organic compounds, and metal particulates. So I'm not going to go into it more because I think you all understand what I'm saying. The health concerns affect all of us. All of New Milford is really in jeopardy with this, and I really want to thank you so much for having our backs. And I have more time, so I can give it to the next speaker.
All right, next up is Joe Baker. Please state your name and address.
Joe Baker, 14 Maplewood Drive. I'm here to put on the record that the New Milford Democratic Town Committee stands against the Flatiron Energy BEST project as presented at the special zoning meeting of December 3rd. It's been extensively discussed. There are many negative impacts. Damage to the residential character of the residential zone that this is proposed in. Noise issues in that zone. Fire risks to neighbors, wetlands, aquifers, floodplains, biodiversity, and our own fire department. There are also contractual risks and end-of-life cleanup concerns. We also have concerns about the company that proposes this project. In their December 3rd presentation, their slide number 4 gives the solid impression that they have extensive experience doing this type of project, when the reality seems to be that they have no projects currently in full operation. Their representative at the recent BEST project Zoom meeting said the following: "We're here to listen, and there are clear concerns we seek to address. It is our intention to pause our permitting process while we engage with the community and the people of New Milford to engage in the perceived issues of the project currently poses. As such, we will no longer be attending the January 26th Town Council meeting and will reschedule." So to listen and to engage with our community, they canceled the January 21st meeting, open house meeting, and at the last minute. And now they canceled their appearance at our Town Council meeting here tonight. Not showing up is the opposite of engaging. We in New Milford and our neighboring towns know well what it is to sacrifice for the greater good of balancing the electrical grid. We have a long history of doing so. In the 1920s, thousands of acres of lands and tens of families were uprooted from their homesteads to create Candlewood Lake. That's an energy storage system built by CL&P to balance the grid. and we are proud of our history of helping in Connecticut. So our concerns are not simply NIMBY concerns. New Milfordites are ready to help when a good project comes along, but sadly, at this point, this is simply a bad project. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Joe.
Ari Rosenberg.
At the outset, I'm just going to say Zach Polly cedes his time, so it's a 10-minute limit, and I think I'm under 10 minutes, so I think we can skip the warning and just cut me off if I go over 10 minutes, okay? Ari Rosenberg, 6 Taylor Street, member of Town Council. A large part of the reason I ran for Town Council stemmed from New Milford residents' concerns about the lack of transparency here at Town Hall. The recent firestorm of public interest around the Flatiron battery storage proposal has illuminated a significant and disturbing lack of transparency within the planning process. This particular project, due to its scale and potential impact on the community, should have been handled with the utmost clarity and open communication. In the abject absence of that, there are serious questions about the integrity of the process. Flatiron has testified that negotiations over this proposal go back to 2022, though the public was not informed until December 2025. The very timing of it all after the election, with notice 2 days before Thanksgiving of a zoning commission hearing, was not the kind of transparency that people in this town are looking for. Withholding that information until after the election has its own appearance of impropriety, but there is the additional concern about the fact that you, Mr. Mayor, continue to withhold critical public information. Mr. Mayor, if you were so strongly opposed to this from the start, why did you wait until the public outcry to come out and say so? People are looking for real leadership in this town. They're not looking for a fickle politician to jump on the bandwagon at the 11th hour. At the last town council meeting, my motion to hire a third party to evaluate the Flatiron proposal was voted down by many members of the town council 5 minutes before they all approved essentially the same proposal when raised by the mayor. You made me like Michelle Obama after Melania Trump plagiarized her speech, but I don't bear a grudge. I just have to ask, why did you have to suspend the rules to add your motion to the agenda? Certainly, if that was your position before the public outcry, you could have put it on the agenda in advance and properly given the town notice. It's not like I didn't send you, Mr. Mayor, the attached email on January 8th asking you to do just that. You didn't even acknowledge receipt of my email, let alone honor my request. You know that Town Charter Section 404F states in no uncertain terms, said agenda shall contain all items submitted to the mayor by any member of town council. Not only did you choose not to put your own proposal on the agenda for the 12th, but you violated the town charter by not including the item I submitted as a member of town council. Instead, you put Flatiron under mayor's comments so that you could control it and prevent my motion from being voted upon. That's why I had to suspend the rules to make my motion, and that's why you had to suspend the rules to make my motion. But if you had honored my right to include it in the agenda, we could have avoided this silly political display. And more importantly, we could have given the town due notice. But you chose not to give the town due notice, and that's a little odd for something so consequential as the Flatiron proposal. Mr. Mayor, if you were so strongly opposed to the Flatiron proposal, why didn't you make it your motion back in October when you received your October 15th, 2025 letter from Flatiron's attorneys sharing their draft citing council proposal? You could have shown true leadership by rallying the people ahead of the election, but you chose to withhold this pertinent information from the public. That's not all you withheld. Flatiron's draft proposal is public information now. It documents conversations between Flatiron and you going back to 2022. Apparently, you were quite involved in the application process. How many meetings did you have with them? How influential were you in the choice of that site in particular? Wouldn't the public like to know? Do we not deserve to know? Isn't that public information? We also know from Flatiron that they attended a New Milford Department Services team meeting with you December 6, 2022. We know that the impact upon the bridge and the aquifer were discussed. Incidentally, who is on that committee? Who was in attendance? Was the public notified that the meeting was going to take place? Was the agenda published to the public? Were the public invited to attend? How many meetings took place? Where are the meeting minutes? What were your words as mayor at these meetings? Wouldn't the public like to know? Do we not deserve to know? Isn't that public information? We know that as recently as July 29th, 2025, Flatiron emailed both you and Zoning Enforcement Officer Laura Reagan with updates on the project status. Why didn't you share that information with the public at that time? As we saw at this week's New Milford Guardians Against Flatiron information session, we have a lot of very smart people in this town with information on the dangers of lithium battery storage facilities and the impact upon our wetlands, aquifer, and fire department. Why wouldn't you want the public's input on the application? Why wouldn't you even tell us about it? We know that on August 1st, 2025, Flatiron met with you and Wetland Enforcement Officer Jim Furlow to review the project. Why did you not share the Wetland Enforcement Officer's concerns about the aquifer with the public at that time? All of this we now know from the Flatiron Draft Siting Council application, Section 5, entitled, quote, Public Outreach. And yet the public was literally none the wiser because you chose not to disclose to us this application that has the potential to destroy our water resources, lower home values, put our volunteer fire department at risk, and jeopardize the safety of our entire town. This is all public information, but the only thing consistent about your position is your determination to withhold this information from the public. On December 12th last year, Hillary Ram submitted to you the following Freedom of Information Act requests. Pursuant to Connecticut Freedom of Information Act, I hereby request access to and copies of all public records in the town of New Milford's possession, custody, or control relating to the proposed battery energy storage system project proposed by Flatiron. She goes on with considerable specificity over several pages to request communications, applications, meeting materials, agreements, safety concerns, etc., as outlined in the attached request. When a public official receives a Freedom of Information Act or FOIA request, they are required by law to acknowledge receipt within 4 days and provide the information within 20 days. You did neither. People have already begun to wonder what you may be hiding and why you may be hiding it. Your failure to respond to the FOIA request has led many people to speculate that perhaps Flatiron offered you some sort of personal incentive to blindside the public and railroad this through as though we didn't have the power to prevent it. Now, we haven't seen any evidence of that. But then again, we haven't seen anything at all, really, because you violated the Freedom of Information Act request. For my part, I sent several emails to express my concern that you failed to acknowledge receipt of the Freedom of Information Act request, let alone provide the required information also attached. Specifically, I requested a town council vote on whether the handling of this FOIA request was in the town's best interests. However, you omitted this item from the initial draft of the agenda for this meeting. I observed that the item was only added after I brought the omission to your attention. It is now present, albeit placed at the very end, and notably, you excluded the vote that, quote, shall be included in the agenda as stipulated by Town Charter 404F. Now, I suppose you'll have the town attorney come up with some excuse for why you were not obligated to respond to Hillary's FOIA request. She has already filed a complaint with the Freedom of Information Commission. We'll see what they have to say on the subject. But even if you weren't compelled to share this information with the public, there still wouldn't be anything prohibiting you from sharing that information. People are going to ask why you wouldn't share this information. They're going to want to know what you were trying to hide here. Sir, this Flatiron proposal could be devastating to the good people of this town. This is not the time to withhold critical information. You claim to be opposed to it, and it appears that you now are, but why did it have to come to this? Why did you wait until after the people cried out before you came out against it?
Excuse me,
Why?
Ari, 1 minute warning.
Understood. Why did you fail to respond to Hillary's Freedom of Information Act request? Why wasn't your motion at the last meeting in the agenda where it rightfully belonged? Why wasn't it on the agenda before the election? For the sake of the good people of this town, please provide all the information requested from you in Hillary Ram's Freedom of Information Act request dated December 12, 2025. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Zach Polly, please make your way to the podium.
Yielded.
My time was yielded to Ari.
All right, thank you, Zach. Tony Vengrove, please come to the podium.
Good evening. I'm Tony Vengrove, 7 Carls Lane, and I'm here on behalf of the Corporation for New Milford, thank you, Economic Development. I'd like to take a few minutes to share an update on an important initiative that we launched late last year. It's our small business survey. As you know, small businesses and nonprofits of all sizes play a critical role in New Milford's economy. They create jobs, drive innovation, solve problems, and contribute to the character and vitality of our town, which is central to our mission as a 501c3 organization. Late last year, we launched an online survey designed to better understand the real-world experiences of our local businesses and nonprofit community. The goal is simple but important. We want to listen carefully, gather meaningful data, and use that information to guide smarter economic development efforts here in town. The survey is open to New Milford organizations of all sizes, at-home businesses, retail business, office business, professional businesses, all of them. And we want to be sure that all voices are represented across industries, neighborhoods, organizational sizes, and demographics. Through the survey, we're collecting insights on challenges, opportunities, operational needs, and success stories. This will help us identify common issues, highlight what's working well, and better understand where additional support may be needed. The initiative was made possible thanks to a generous grant from Ives Bank, and we are very grateful for their partnership and commitment to strengthening our local economy. The survey is voluntary and confidential and will remain open until February 21st. And once it closes, the corporation will analyze the findings, create a presentation, share the results at our future public event, and of course, post that presentation on our website. To encourage participation, eligible businesses that complete the survey will be entered into a drawing for several local gift cards. There'll be 3 $100 restaurant cards and 4 $50 gift cards to New Milford businesses. But more important than the incentives is the opportunity for business owners to have their voices heard and to help share future programs and policies that affect them directly. I'd like to encourage the council and the broader community to help us spread the word about this effort. The more participation we have, the more accurate and useful the results will be. The survey can be found on our website at corporationnmed.org. I have postcards with a QR code available if anybody would like one. There's some at the town hall as well. And that's it. On behalf of the corporation, we'd like to thank you for your continued support of our work, and we look forward to sharing the results with you. Thank you.
Very good, Tony.
Cheryl Hill, you come up to the podium, please state your name and address.
That's fine, thank you. Hi, good evening. My name is Cheryl Hill, and I live at Aspetuck Pines Drive. I'd like to thank you all for being here and acknowledge State Representative Buckby and State Minority Leader Senator Harding. Thank you for being here with us and for taking this issue very seriously. At the special zoning meeting, I expressed some sentiments there, and those still apply. We've had many people speak who have raised very valid, very serious concerns. I do feel that they're being heard, and I don't feel the need to repeat those. I just want to recall those. Thank you. I understand that Flatiron may have said that they intend to pause, but as the mayor had pointed out, he did follow up with a phone call to try to clarify, and I don't know how they describe a pause, but it seems that they're still moving forward with acquiring the land, and potentially other locations in New Milford. And all of the same critical, valid, serious concerns apply. And therefore, I'm here to voice my support for to be on the offensive side instead of defensive, and a very proactive posture, and support moving forward with the moratorium. And if there's a way that we can continue to coordinate the different committees and councils in town in order to continue to be unified, I think that sends a very strong message to Flatiron. And we had also, at that first meeting and subsequent meetings, we had seen a unity across the board, across all of those in attendance. And I just want to emphasize that it's important to maintain that unity, because that unity displays strength. That we may have a lot of other issues that we maybe have differences on, here we come together. So I want to ask that we can keep that focus on the unity when it comes to this issue, and be as strong as we can in the effort to oppose and to keep Flatiron out of our town, out of my neighborhood. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Barry Oronato, did I get that right? Honorado, there you go.
Good evening. My name is Barry Honorado. I live at number 271 Aspetuck Ridge Road here in town. Mayor Pete, council members, state reps, and fellow residents. I would like to say that my first concern was actually with the Connecticut Siting Council. I truly thought that once they realized that Flatiron wanted to build this facility over top of or near this aquifer, I thought sure it would have been full stop, end of story, and that would have ended there. Obviously, what I think and what they may decide could very well be two different things. So the best I can do tonight is to give you information on what I know from a utility aspect. I have 34 years background in substation testing and maintenance, and also transmission and distribution systems. So, one of the things that Flatiron claims is that their BESS system will be good for the distribution system, in that it will be more reliable and more stable. Well, I can tell you with certainty, this will not help the distribution system whatsoever that all of us are fed off of. It will, in fact, greatly enhance the transmission system, which does, in fact, connect to other substations, to other towns. But that's through the transmission system. And why did they choose this particular line? Because it's connected to the node at Rocky River that also connects to West Brookfield, Bulls Bridge, and Carmel Hill over in Woodbury. The other nice thing about that line is Bulls Bridge is a radial feed. That line only goes one direction to Bulls Bridge and stops. The other direction, it connects at the node at Rocky River. So yes, there's a huge transmission advantage, but there is no distribution advantage. The typical outages that we experience now, for example, squirrels, trees, equipment failures, storms, and pole accidents, those will still continue. And this BESS project will have no impact on that whatsoever. The other thing that they talk about is it will aid in brownouts and blackouts. I can tell you the last time we experienced a blackout was in 2003, when a utility in Ohio had a software issue and transmission lines started tripping, and it cascaded across the Northeast. The time before that happens to have been the Great Northeast Blackout in 1965. And I think back then, Katie and I were in 8th grade. Anyways, in that particular incident, we were actually saved by Rocky River. They were able to start up and provide station service for other stations to come online. And by the way, that happens to be the the first pumped storage hydroelectric plant that was constructed in the United States. In closing, I would like to say that, yes, somewhere in Connecticut, a facility like this is in fact needed. However, I strongly disagree that it should be constructed over top of this aquifer, and that's the reasons I'm opposed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Barry.
Liba Furman, please walk up to the podium, name and address.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Honorable Vice Chairman Francis, members of the Town Council, and Senator Harding and Representative Buckby, and members of the public. For the record, my name is Liba Furman. I live at 60 Colonial Ridge Drive in Gaylordsville, Connecticut. I'm going to first speak as Liba Furman, a resident, and I want to just start off by saying this is not about politics. This is not about placing blame. It's not about looking backwards. It's not about airing gripes. That only causes division and will not help our causes. This is a time, as I said last time I appeared before the Town Council, for all of us, all the citizen groups and the town, to work together in unity and not to tear each other apart. Now I'm going to speak on behalf of Save the West Aspetuck River Valley. I have a question about Flatiron's latest action. Is this a pause or is it a stall? What are they doing? They're not letting us know. But we have to stay vigilant. As they told the mayor, as the mayor reported in his Facebook post, they're not giving up their option on the Aspetuck Road property. So we have to stay vigilant about that. But could they be looking at other property? There are rumors out there, and so we have to stay vigilant about that. I commend the Town Council and the mayor at your last meeting for voting to put together a legal team and to hire experts. My experience in front of the Siting Council and other state agencies tell me only facts will sway the Siting Council. Only credentialed experts that can stand up to intense cross-examination will sway the Siting Council. SAVE also wholeheartedly supports the moratorium that the mayor has mentioned in the past. A number of towns in other states have done this, and I believe that at one point the state legislature, I think it was in last session, there was a proposal to add a moratorium for best plants, but that failed. I would urge the town to pursue a moratorium. It sends a message to Flatiron, to the Siting Council, to the state DEP. It sends a message that we don't want best plants here. I also hope that we will meet soon with Senator Minority Leader Steve Harding, Representative Buxby, Buxbaum, and Callanan to talk about working with them for a state-level moratorium. They, and we are very fortunate, sit on the Environment Committee and the Energy Committee, so we have all of our bases covered there. In conclusion, I just want to thank the Town Council again for your vigilance, for your action on this, and look forward to working, all of us in New Milford, all of our groups together, because only as one voice can we win.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Caitlin O'Keefe, please come up to the podium and state your name and address.
Hi, my name is Caitlin O'Keefe. I live at 73 Dark Entry Road in Washington, and I'm here to add my voice to the clear message that the community stands firmly against the battery energy storage project that was introduced here in New Milford. I remain uneasy to discover that the representatives making decisions in this town and recommendations for land use felt comfortable with the placement of lithium-ion battery packs anywhere within the proximity of a Class A watershed, a residential area, and an increasingly vulnerable forest habitat. I wholeheartedly hope that you do what you can to pass a state moratorium on a battery energy storage facility until safer technology is developed and moving forward. As our water infrastructures age, we need you to pay particular attention to land use and planning, moving to preserve our water systems. As our energy systems evolve, seemingly driven by instruction that lies outside of our hands, it is clear that the towns need to improve its processes and transparency to ensure the health and safety of its population is not something that we have to fight for, but something that's inherent to your process. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. That was the last speaker on the list, Mayor. I don't know if you want to open it up to anyone else.
Thank you, Joe. I'd like to know if Senator Harding or Representative Buckley would like to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to Town Council for having us here tonight. I want to thank all of our neighbors here for standing up and advocating for themselves and the town. This is an important issue, and I understand their concerns, and their grave concerns. Representative Buckby and I are going to be submitting multiple bills this session that address this issue. And the first bill we're going to submit is a statewide moratorium on battery facilities in the state. I also want to say that Representative Buckby and I also supported a bill, which is Senate Bill 73, 2 years ago, that would have put local representation on the state siting council. I think that's long, long overdue. This is a great example of that. Unfortunately, the governor vetoed that bill 2 years ago. I've reintroduced it, so has Representative Buckby, and we're going to reintroduce it again, and we're going to present it to the governor, and this time we hope he signs it. We'd love to have the town council support in advocating for the governor to sign it into law this time. I don't want to turn it over to Representative Buckby.
Thank you, Senator. There's a number of things. We've heard every concern that we've been hearing from the public. We're seeing the social media, people are reaching out. The different groups are reaching out individually. It's fantastic to see people stepping up and reaching out and wanting to be a part of a solution. And like Mayor Furman just mentioned, us coming together is what's going to make that work. We're all on the same side of this here. It seems to be, for the most part, we're all on the same side. I haven't heard anybody say they're in favor of this project going forward. But I can tell you this, the bill that Mayor Furman mentioned from last year was an amendment that we put on. That hit partisan concerns. We're working with people from across the state now who are having the same problem. We've got the representative from Granby is putting forth a big piece, representative from Burlington. We have people on both sides of the aisle now that are coming together and working together to finally see if we can push this through. So I just think the biggest part of this is some of this you don't see, right? You guys don't see us. We're not here on a monthly basis or twice a month and out here telling everybody what it is. We're up there. We're meeting with our colleagues up in Hartford. We're having the phone calls, every piece of that. And I'm trying to be very, very good not to use bad words. But by golly, we are going to fight to get this through for New Milford to be heard on the state level, every piece of this, and not let this get pushed aside again. What's that? Like it did last time. Like it did last time by the governor or by anybody in any party. This is not party politics. This is very simple. This should be about the environment and the energy committees working together to get this through and to make sure that we are safe and protected across the state, not just in New Milford, but that is first and foremost my #1 priority. But we cannot sit here and let them keep telling us what we can and can't do in our town from a state level. We're going to keep pushing back on the zoning issues. We're going to keep pushing back on this now. I think the moratorium is most certainly something that we can fight strongly for, and we have a lot more help across the state. So New Milford, we're not alone in this fight. We have other people that are facing the same issues, so we're going to be fighting with that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions you have for us? Mr. Mayor, we're here.
I have a question.
Sure, sir.
The question to you, sir, is that even if you get this on the floor, are you outnumbered by the leftists or Democrats 3-1? You guys are Republicans, right? In other words, we can go across the line and everything else. You don't have enough votes to actually push it through, do you?
Well, first off, we're not in session yet.
So we don't know how many votes we have yet. We haven't had a chance to sit down
Yeah,
with
but I
those
heard that
people.
2 years ago, something was voted down already, right?
Well, what you're talking about was
Believe it or
made
not,
across,
Sal,
yeah.
or Councilman, sorry, that bill actually passed unanimously, Republican and Democrat out of both chambers. The governor unilaterally vetoed it. So
And
it got support from Republicans and Democrats, almost, I think only maybe 1 or 2 votes
So the
against.
government got into
The governor vetoed Senate Bill 73. Now, that was the local representation on the siting council.
So what's the fear right now? Do we have enough votes to actually pass it?
Well, because I have no doubt that if they put this local representation on the siting council bill up again, it would pass by a huge majority in the House.
Because the way it works, right, the legislation comes from the Hartford thing. They come to us like with the zoning, correct? They basically stripped us from the zoning. Now we can go and say to put a fight in this out. That sounds good on a microphone, but sometimes it's not realistic because you don't have enough votes. It's 3-1.
Well, that's the thing. We did have enough votes because that's what happens when you're the minority party in Hartford. You have to work very well collectively. As I'm sure the Democrats on this town council know, it's the same thing. When you're outnumbered, you have to have those conversations. You have to, put your passion out there as to why you feel the way you do and why you're voting the way you are, why you're pushing a certain piece of an agenda. I've had bills pass, right, in the minority party.
Right.
I've got them through up there. This is one of those. The problem is going to be when the governor vetoes a bill. It's not like other things. The governor vetoes, and now it's back to the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate to make that decision if they want to call it back in to be voted on again.
So why did the government
They
veto
did not.
this? Why did they veto this? Just because he could?
Why did the governor veto it?
No,
I'll submit to the council his veto message.
Can you just describe? We have the people. People are watching us. Just give us Can we paraphrase, but just a few words. That's all.
The governor believes that the siting council shouldn't have any local input. He believes that the siting council was constructed for a reason not to have local input. And I don't want to put words in the governor's mouth. That's the reason why
Understood.
I'd rather just submit the
We
testimony.
said again, paraphrase it.
But generalizing his testimony, he believes it's important not to have local input on these projects. I disagree with him wholeheartedly. I think Representative Pluckby disagrees with him wholeheartedly. And frankly, there was a far majority of Democrats in the Senate and the House that disagreed with him as well. Now, ultimately, when the governor vetoes a bill, it's only up to one individual, respectively, in the House, that being the Speaker and the Senate, to call a veto session and to override that veto. Why Senator Looney and why Speaker Ritter did not hold an override or a veto session to override the veto on that bill, which was Senate Bill 73, I didn't get a good answer. I don't think nor did Representative Buckley. Now, this is mind you, this is a separate issue than the moratorium on the battery facilities, which has not gotten a full vote in the House and the Senate. However, with that said, I do believe there are many Democrats and Republicans, parties indifferent here, where there's communities like ours here in New Milford that are facing the same exact problem. And ultimately, we're answerable to all of you as Republicans and Democrats, regardless of our party affiliation. And so I have every good reason to believe that if Representative Buckley and myself can work with Democrats and Republicans that are facing similar issues across their communities, we can get a broad consensus of Republicans and Democrats to support this, and that is our goal here. And I'm not going to give up till session ends, and even then I'm not going to give up.
So then the Lamont vetoes and it's over, right?
Well, he vetoed this. He vetoed Senate Bill 73. He has not weighed in at all on the storage facility. Excuse me, the battery facility bill. I don't know where his position is on that. And Representative Buckley and I are gonna have to find out.
But I can tell you the one thing that Steve is trying to say with this too, Sal, is we are seeing more and more communities across the state that are being affected the same way, regardless of their political party of who represents them in Hartford. It's irrelevant. They're all facing the same issue now. They're all starting to see the same problem.
It's liability. It's liability. That's all it is.
It is. And what we're trying to do is we're getting those people together. Mm-hmm. There's a solar farm up in East Windsor that's having a major problem with the siting council. That's across the aisle. That's not a Republican, it's a Democrat who's their House rep that I've spoken with about it. She's all on board 100% with what we're trying to do too. We're trying to get honest representation for everybody on the state level with the siting council. Right now, it's only approved by one party. It's all one party that's put in there too. So I don't think that's right. I don't care which party it is. It should never be all one party.
I agree.
So these are some of the issues we're going to be facing and fighting up there. And The only thing I will say is, you comment this is, it sounds good on a microphone. The battles we have up there are one-on-one with individuals within the committee meetings. You're welcome to watch any of the committee meetings and watch us go to bat in those, but the work is done really when that meeting is done and having a conversation with the ranking members and the chairs of the committee. That's where our work really gets done. So as much as, I'd love to stand up here and Ari mentioned before about, when people are talking about whether they oppose or, support different things, we don't come out and say things right away because we want to be able to hear what everybody has to say before we come out and make a statement as well. We want to be very clear about that. So with us, same thing up there. I'm not going to make statements here that reverberate into Hartford that somebody goes, well, you were just bashing my town and what we're doing with batteries, because we love having the battery storage system in our town. That's what I don't want that. I want to make sure I listen to everything being said before I step forward and make my comments on any of it. So that's why some of the delay is there, and some of it is very cautious with intent. And I think we need to be careful about that.
I want to thank you both for your statements tonight, and also if there's anything that I could do to help you promote a statewide moratorium on BESS as a Democrat, please let me know. I'm happy to help out with that.
Absolutely. What happens now is we're going to submit this bill. We're going to get it in and try to get it across to the committee, so the committee will vote on this bill. I don't know what that feedback is. We're getting something. We're going to try to get this so there'll be a public hearing. If the public hearing comes up, absolutely, every single last one of you, please submit written testimony, come on up and speak. If you have to, you can Zoom in to speak. Be loud, be heard at that point, just like everybody standing up here. If your voice is, if you don't want to use your voice, nobody's gonna know how you feel. If we can get this thing across that finish line to at least get a public hearing, that is the opportunity for everybody to move and to really unite, and every one of these groups will be involved in that, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Mary Jane?
So if we had local representation on the siting council, how would that work? Would it be like the mayor of the town, or what is your
So
thoughts about
the
that?
legislation was crafted where the CEO of the town, each individual town that was impacted would have the ability to appoint an individual to the siting council on that particular project.
Okay, thank you.
And we still have the right to stand up as not a voting spot, but just like the town would have someone who could oppose and be there with the siting council, we get that advantage as well. So I would be able to, Senator Harding, Representative Callahan, and Bucksbaum, who, by the way, just due to weather concerns, they apologize not being here tonight. We would all have a seat at that table for the discussion. Not to vote, but for the discussion. And you're darn tootin', we'd be the first ones in line to get up on that to sit at that round table and have that discussion as well. We're not going to miss that opportunity. We will take advantage of every opportunity given us to fight this situation so that people don't have to go through like they have been for years in other towns. We're seeing it now. But talk to Representative Anderson or Representative Piscopo, they've been fighting it for years. Years. So let's fix it now so we don't have to keep fighting it there and we get on to other things that are more beneficial to all our communities too.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Any other questions? Great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for your efforts up in Hartford. Okay. Yep.
Everybody's spoken?
Next, the consent agenda.
Okay. All right. Let's move forward to item 5. Item 5, the consent agenda. Move to accept items 5A and B. Do I have a second?
Second. Do we have a second? I did. Thank you, Sal. Any discussion on the consent agenda? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Stay safe.
Mayor, would you like to explain why item 4 wasn't read? Because everybody here seems to want to hear it because it's there, so.
What's item 4?
Item 4 says mayor and
On what agenda?
this is what I have from your office.
Oh, got a separate agenda.
No, this is the one I have. Can I borrow yours? Thanks. Okay, well, that's why it's very confusing. All right, so let's back up to item 4. That's the consent agenda that I just read, and we had a motion I made, and we had a consensus.
And we voted on it?
One abstention.
Yes, we did.
I'll abstain.
Say it out loud. Okay, mayor's comments on number 5 now.
Thank you, Katie.
All right.
First, I'd like to start off before my regular things to kind of touch upon what was talked about here at public participation. First, I'd like to start off by saying, really, I call it proof in the pudding. You walk your talk, right? So I seem to remember working with Mayor Furman, with a whole bunch of other people with Candlewood Solar, with the concerns of Candlewood Solar and the environment. Also, I was the person that helped create the order to block some of our river courses for safety and also for the environment. For those that lived on River Road or live on River Road currently. It's such a change from before. Dirty diapers, junk, all thrown out into our course. I walk my talk, and guess what? It's all about the health and safety of our residents and the environment. Now, a charge that was put out over here, Ari, saying that I may have taken a bribe. How absolutely ridiculous. I was never censored for taking anything. It's all about what's best for this town. It's all about working together, not pontificating time and again. It's all about learning a process, because this government has a process and how we work together to make things happen. I'll give you, for instance, so I've been charged now with holding things in pocket, misleading you guys. Here's something I want you to ponder. The open house that we talked about, Flatiron, they came to one, and then they decided not to come to the other one. They put you guys in a bag and said, nope, not coming. Why? Because they went to the New Milford Clean Water Coalition restricted open house, but they had on a Zoom meeting. And Ari, I think you're a member of the coalition.
I'm not.
But you CC stuff when you ask for stuff.
Well, he mentioned
And the question I have,
due diligence to find
and
out
the
information.
question that I do have and I do pose is, they must have known that Mr. McGovern was going to be there, and they must have known that Mr. McGovern states, let me put this, Mr. McGovern stated, it's our intention to pause our permitting application with the Siting Council while we better engage with the community. Now, listen to this. We intend to work with the New Milford Clean Water Coalition and the people of New Milford to engage perceived issues which that project poses. As such, we will no longer be attending the January 26th Town Council meeting, and we'll reschedule a later date, as Joe had talked about. What I find interesting is, when did you guys know that Flatiron wasn't going to come here? How many talks have you had with Flatiron before the Zoom call? You know what I call that? Hypocrisy at its finest. And it continues and continues and continues. And for those who've been watching, ladies and gentlemen, every election, right afterwards, right, we get attacked. Right afterwards, attacked. We could throw gold bullion outside and it wouldn't be good enough. It's always about politics, and it should stop. It should be about what's best for the town of New Milford. Everybody working together for the betterment of this town. The roads that we go may differ, but it's all about making the town better. I'll get to more and more about Flatiron and our response as a town. But I just want people to remember the environment things that we have done and will continue to do to make this town great. Look, I've been here for a long time, right? I'm up in Marion myself. I know what people want. We bought here for a reason. We live here for a reason. And you're going to hear in a little while these new zoning changes that are coming in that are going to affect how we live up here. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about that. But this pontification, and I very, very, very take it personally, Ari, that you would say that I would be on the take
I didn't say that. I said people say that because you have not answered your Freedom of
That
Information
is,
Act
excuse
request.
me,
And
excuse me,
furthermore-
Ari, I gave you 10 minutes, okay? I think that
I
was
was
just,
entitled to the 10 minutes. You didn't give me anything.
okay. I'm just saying to call someone and saying someone is on the take, I think is just very, not a
Prove
very,
it by answering the Freedom of
very
Information Act request, Mr.
classic
Mayor.
thing to do. So, now I'm going to move on to some good stuff, and then we'll move on to Flatiron as well.
Can I just say one thing?
Sal, real quick, it's mayor's comments, so not really.
Understood, sir. So you were offended without substance. You were called a fickle politician. The guy who called you, he can't even compete with you in a popularity in this town in any shape or form. So next time, Ari, when you stand up over there, just buckle up, buddy. If you don't have a substance, because you don't have a vote, it's not much I can tell you. The mayor.
Well, Sal, I just think it's all about us working together.
Agreed.
I just think this, just calling people names and this continued divisiveness is wrong. We've got lots of problems that we need to fix here in New Milford and continue to move forward.
Agreed.
Well, disclose the information and then we'll know.
Okay, next is some good things that are happening in town. First, a big, huge thank you to our Public Works Department and our Park and Rec team. I know up at my house we had over 2.5 feet of, I know I had over 2.5 feet of snow. In some areas, I think that was consistent. Downtown, I think we had almost 2 feet. If those that haven't seen DPW, especially in the downtown area, to really consolidate all the snow, they put it in the crossover. It's probably 15 feet high, and all the kids were out there sledding today. It was pretty cool to see, and then to see all the kids sledding in different areas. So again, a big, huge thank you to our police, fire, ambulance, DPW. We're in for more snow supposedly this weekend. I heard could be up to another 9 inches of snow.
Oh,
so, yeah. So good luck, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that in a little bit, right, Olga? Also, where we are in the budget process. So right now, we're going through the process. The Board of Education completed their process, and the superintendent made her recommendation, which is a 3.2% increase in expenditures year over year. There were deliberations. I was able to make some in person and watch some virtually as well. And then the last week, the Board of Ed made their approval, recommendation, and now that comes over to the town side, which will be coming to the Town Council and the Board of Finance at their joint hearings. Right now, I'm working with Olga. We're going with all of our department heads, going through the budget as well. And then we'll be posting that budget, proposing that budget, along with the educational budget to the Town Council and the Board of Finance at their joint hearings. And they'll be able to bring up department heads and talk to them about what they see as far as the budget itself. And then at the end of that time, then the Town Council will then hold their deliberations, and they can make adjustments to the mayor's budget if they so choose. Then that budget goes to the Board of Finance. The Board of Finance then will hold a town meeting to get public input, and then they will have their deliberations where they can make any changes if they so choose. Then that will be the budget that will go before you, the public, at a referendum. And then you, the public, have the chance to give the ultimate input. We have a bifurcated budget, meaning that both budgets don't have to pass, or both budgets don't have to fail. One can approve, and if one fails, the one that fails goes back for review and then back out to referendum. And if they both pass, that's your budget moving forward. We're also, as we talked about at the last meeting, the Homestead Act, and this was something, we're the first town in the state to do this. This is for primary residences. And because we had a property, we were going through a property reval, we're going to be seeing a lot of increases in property values, and that's throughout the state. It's not just specific to New Milford. Other towns are experiencing the same percentage increases as we are. This tool allows us currently on a primary residence, and all really residents, but primary because of the Homestead Act, you're taxed at 70% of your value. With the Homestead Act, that will allow the town council to adjust that percentage down to as low as, I believe, 45%. Right, Olga? Is it 45% they can go down to?
Well, it's up to 35 exemption?
Yep.
Yep.
So they can go down to 35. Yep, so they can go down to 35%. We're going to have Brian, our tax assessor, at our February meeting come and talk about that, and then that way, at that meeting, hopefully the town council will be able to make that adjustment, and then that's what will be taxed in the July beginning of our municipal year, which will start July 26 through June 27. And we'll be presenting more information as we move forward with that. And then also you'll see tonight there's a bunch of boards and commission members that we are reappointing. And there's some that we'll be reappointing at the next meeting too. Pat from my office has been reaching out to some of the incumbent members to see if they'd still like to serve. And also, if you're interested in serving on a board of commission, we'd love to hear from you. You can call the mayor's office at 860-355-6010. You can also go to the town webpage, and you can go to government, and then you can click on boards and commissions, and in the drop down it will show you those that are appointed commission members, and you can see if there's anyone that you're interested in. We'd love to hear from you, and the more people that can be involved, the better. And events we got going on, Katie. So Kimberly Farm, hopefully this coming Saturday. We don't know it's snow again, but they're going to do their Sunday, Saturday. The Winter Farmers Market is 9:30 to 12:30 at St. John's Church. And then at Pettibone, Park and Rec is doing their beginning crochet from January 24th to March 7th. The Bank Street Theater, Katie, because of the snow last Saturday, the Milford Youth Baseball Softball fundraiser, The Sandlot, is going to be there. I believe it may be sold out. Tickets are $15, and that includes a soda, and what a great movie is, especially for the kids and the parents. And then we have the January 31st at 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. The New Milford Library is doing the 3rd Annual Community Engagement Day. And that has all the nonprofits and service organizations that are coming together there. You can learn a little bit more about them and all the great work they do for New Milford, and you may want to get involved. So it's always a great thing. Thank you to the library for putting that on. On February 4th, 6 p.m. to 7:30 at the Max is a Neurodiversity 101 for professionals. Also on February 4th, the doors open at 4 p.m. at the Milford High School. The Milford High School Band's Winter Home Show. Also, February 5th, 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the Max is Safe Kids. That's a great, wonderful program for the neurodiverse youngsters and their parents. February 7th, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. here at the observatory right here. If you haven't been here, it's just such a great asset we have in town. We actually have 2 telescopes now, Sal, down there, which is great, and it's the 25th anniversary of that program, and the volunteers there are amazing. February 9th, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Max, All Pro Dads. And then February 13th, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Max is Singo Bingo. That's to benefit the New Milford Youth Baseball and Softball program. On February 19th at 8 p.m. at Theater Works, The Shark is Broken Seniors Performance. I believe that may be sold out. And then the regular performance, February 20th through the 21st at Theater Works. What a great venue. If you haven't been there to watch some of the wonderful, what's that, Katie?
Oh, yes.
Some of the
yes.
wonderful performances they have there. There's not a bad seat in the house there.
That's right.
And then on February 26th, 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., the Milford Public Library is doing Lawyers in Libraries. And if you have a legal question, you can go there. It's free of charge. And there are a lot of great lawyers there that can help you with your question. And that's what I got for Mayor's comments. Katie?
Okay, one thing, didn't they extend the time frames for your homestead exemption to be filed?
He's going to put
Public hearing.
Yeah, we have going to public hearing for that.
Yeah, okay, and when is that going to be?
February.
The 9th.
That's the 9th of February.
9th, okay,
Yep.
because, yes, so everybody understands that, because a lot of people thought they were missing out on
And we're
getting in there, right.
Every opportunity to do that.
That's great. Okay. Moving on this agenda, which seems to be the correct one, I'll go to item 6. I'm going to read all of these, and you can say aye or nay after the fact. This is item 6. These are reappointments to committees. The first is the 9/11 committee. All of these that I'm going to read on this page, the term is from February 1st, 2026 to January 31st of 2030. We'll start with the 9/11 committee, Corey Linder. Now, these are all reappointments. On the Aging Commission, Gretchen Reynolds, Michelle Ligori, Geraldine Rada, and Robert Bennett. Again, same number of months there. Alarm Appeals Board, James Corbett. Arts Commissions, we have Joan Iver, Julie Learson.
It's actually Ivler. There's an L.
Sorry about that, Joan, but you got a typo.
How do you spell that?
Ivler. Joan Learson, Susan Randall, Jeremy Ruman, Alice Shute, Mark Van Ness. Candlewood Lake Authority, Mark Toussaint. Conservation Commission, Michael Bird, Howard Russick. Economic Development Commission, Jay Umbarger. Moving again, we still are working from February 1st of 2026 through January 31st of 2030. Ethics Commission, Austin Michael Shackelford. Fair Rent Commission, Jana Larkin. Farmland and Forest Preservation Committee, George Sam. Film Commission, Jeffrey Prager, Lee Craw, and Jennifer Bartram. Housatonic River Commission, Mark Andriato. Housing Partnership, Pete Bass, Walter Bayer, Jeanette Ireland, Robert Rush, James Delancey, Adrian Angel, Ivana Butera, Catherine Francis. Inland Wetlands Commission, Aquifer Protection, Catherine Setterlin, Kent Flesher, Thomas LaPala. And Lake Lillinois Authority, James Ginnity, sorry if I messed that up, Jim, Mark Wertman. Again, we're still on February 1st, 2026 to January 31st of 2030. Municipal Building Committee, Catherine Francis, Robert Beebe, Thomas Pilla, Charles Bogey. Municipal Citation Hearing Officer, Walter Bayer. Municipal Bonds Committee, John Whitman, John Goodell, Michael Boucher. Parks and Recreation, yes?
Excuse me, that was Municipal Roads Committee, not Bonds.
Did I say bonds? Oh, I'm
Yes.
sorry. Oh, I'm just all out of it, aren't I? Okay, Municipal Roads, those same 3 people, and they are bonded together. Parks and Recreation, Paul Samansky, Walter Camp, Lisa Gallick, Alfred Esposito. Pension Committee, David Lawson, Walter Bayer, Walter O'Connor. Riverfront Revitalization Committee, Diane Clafe, Richard Cheaple, Lucy Wildrick, McAdory Lipscomb Jr., John Rosa. Sewer Commission, Gary Hita, Frank Bedetti. Youth Agency, Maureen Ann Price, Virginia Landgrebe, Shelley Ann Scalzo. Do I have a second?
Second it.
Thank you.
Rolando?
Any discussion?
Yes, actually, I'm counting about 25 Democrats here, and
Okay,
one of
Ari,
them I know
can
is
I
on.
just say this? I asked, you talked about me earlier, before we started, you brought that up. I'd like to say
That's
one
not what
more
I brought
time.
up.
Yes, you did. You asked me why they were all together. I did give you an answer. I'm going to let the mayor explain. These are not all of the people that are on these commissions, the ones that are
I
being
understand.
re-upped. I don't think you did.
I do,
Could you
actually.
explain it to me?
Why do you think I don't understand
Because
that?
you're asking again.
I'm asking a different thing.
Okay, what is it now?
Well, I'm looking at 25 Democrats here, and I think one of them is a member of the Democratic Town Council. And I'm just asking if anyone reached out to the Democratic Town Committee to ask if they had any suggestions for these, because it's supposed to be minority representation.
Did you happen to read at the beginning where this is written here, that these are people who are getting reappointed?
Understood.
So in order to do that, I suppose we'd have to say, what, we'd have to remove somebody?
And maybe someone from the Democratic Town Committee would like to do that, but it's not our job as a town council to remove somebody from one of these commissions or partnerships to put another one in,
I just
okay?
wanted to say
I
it's
know that you're
interesting
new
that
to the
one out of
council,
25 is a
so
member of the
what else
PTC.
would you like a answer on?
No, that's it.
Okay, good. Okay, so we have votes on everything here? Do I get? Yes, we have that.
Yeah, we have a motion, second it?
Motion and a second.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
And then we have,
Yep, Mike, Mary Jane?
I just, an abstention.
okay, that's,
For,
One abstention.
For the
Okay.
municipal building committee and for the park and rec.
And all the other ones okay?
all right, that's two.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to item 6B. Again, this is, I'd like to move that James Delancey be the Veterans Service Representative. And again, that goes from February 1st, 2026, but this one is going to January 31st of 2026, which is not possible. That means he's out before he gets in. Is that also 2030, Mayor?
No, that's 27. Yep. It's annually, the veterans officers.
Okay,
and,
good, okay.
Commander Delancey.
So
is
into the
also-
record, we have February 1st, 2026 to January 31st of 2027 for James Delancey, Veterans Service Representative.
And Mr. Delancey is the commander of the American Legion. Paul? Paul second.
Okay.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Okay, item number 7. This is the Milford Library. I'd like to move that we approve for the library to accept a donation of $250 from the Shackelford Adler Charitable Fund. They received it on the 9th of January, and this donation will be used for library materials and programming. Also, they received a donation of a framed photo of Terrence Tugas' grandson, who was in the bandstand in the Children's Library. They received that on the 13th of this month, and that's worth $100, but it's probably worth a lot more to them. Item 7C, we have a donation of $75 from Peter Datillo and Ellen O'Mara. That was received on the 15th of this month, and that donation will be used for library materials and programming, and it's in memory of Sandra Harter Anderson.
So moved.
Thank you, Paul. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Item 8, Milford Youth Agency. I'd like to move that we approve the youth agencies allowed to accept a donation of $375 from Coldwell Banker. They are extremely thankful for this donation and for Coldwell Banker's commitment to the youth, New Milford's youth and families. The awarded money will be deposited in an account recommended by the finance director. Do you have a second?
So moved, second.
Thank you.
Rolando?
Rolando. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Item number 9, I'd like to move that we transfer $80,000 into the Public Works Winter Overtime account, which is 104-30-100-51333 from the following accounts. $55,000 from account 104-119-00-51000. From finance personnel, $25 from account.
25,000.
That's a lot of difference.
I'm sorry. I guess I didn't bring the right glasses today. Jesus. Okay, so that's 25,000. Okay. To account, from account 104-14200-56.
5119.
Jesus, I don't have, I'm sorry, I don't have the right glasses. 5119, that's fringe benefits, other wages, and $170,000 from the following: 109-80-000-58900. Contingency into account is 104-30-100-56003. Public Works Winter M&S to provide, M&S, what's that stand for?
Materials and supplies.
There you go, to provide additional funding due to unprecedented number of storms.
And we have Chuck here. Chuck,
That's
would you like
right.
to come up and talk a little bit to the council?
Second it?
Do I have a
Thank you,
second?
Luana.
That's, he did, you didn't. Okay.
You need it.
That's for sure.
They do a great job.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So, yeah, we've had a lot of snow. I believe this storm right now is, we're up to number 13 for the season. In a typical year, we figure to have 13 total. We're not even into February yet. As far as materials and supplies, we average about 5,000 tons a year, and that would be on the high side. We budget for about 5,500 tons, which is our normal budgetary number is $550,000. That's about 5,000 tons. This year, we're obviously running low at this point. We're going to expend on that on this next storm coming, should that come to fruition. And again, we're not even into February yet. So what we're asking for this $170,000 right now, that'll supply us with 2,000 tons of material. We are hoping that will carry us through the rest of the season. We anticipate that to do so. Again, we are not into February yet. The $80,000, that'll give us another 53 hours of time and a half, 40 hours of double time. Unfortunately, a couple of these storms in the past, the first 12 or so, they've fallen on weekends, overnights. When storms fall during the week, regular hours, it's not impacted to this overtime budget. Unfortunately, a lot of these storms have. In particular, the 2-week pay period for New Year's Eve, for example, it's a Saturday into Sunday storm, a New Year's Eve storm. Just that alone, that 2-week pay period is $70,000 of overtime right then and there. We budget $150,000 in overtime for that work. So that's half our year's budgetary number. As far as how we budget our number, we kind of take a 5-year average for that. The past 5 years, we've been pretty flat with that. We haven't asked to raise. The storms themselves have been on the low side. We're not used to these storms that we've been seeing. The snow events have been on the low side. We've kept that number flat for the most part, but unfortunately this year, we're seeing that uptick. I will say on the benefit this year, we gained some additional materials joining a purchasing agreement. Cost of salt has come down this year, so we did gain some extra tonnage with the purchasing. Instead of budgeting $100 a ton in the past, we're paying about $85, $87 a ton, which is great. Just unfortunately, we're just going through a lot more material. And then it comes down to level of service. I think our highway guys do a great job. They spent a lot of time in this particular storm just over the last day and a half here. It's about 25 hours of overtime. They went through 500 tons of treated material, 200 tons of a sand salt material, just to kind of spread out the material that we had. So this storm alone, the numbers aren't officially in, but we're estimating about $89,000 total. So $38,000 in overtime and $51,000 in materials. So just to give you an idea of what this storm is going to cost. But you factor in the inches that we got, 2 feet of snow, and the time that came about. It was a big one, and we hope this is the only big one that we get this year. So what we got coming for this weekend, we hope it doesn't come to fruition, and if it does, it's a small one. But so again, this is what we're asking for. We hope this floats us for the rest of the season, and this carries us.
Thank you, Chuck. So we have a motion.
Thank you for your service.
We have a motion, and we have a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thank you to all the guys.
Thanks to all the people that did that plowing.
Okay.
Item 9B, I'd like to move that we take $14,720 from account 109-80-000-58900, contingency into account 104-21-500-53401, dog pound contractual to provide necessary funding for the town's share.
Do I have a second? Oh, thank you.
Second it.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? And this is just our share as we're regional with the other, I believe, 5 towns. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Item 9C, I'd like to move that we allow the transfer of $40,000 from account 104-15000-44107, land use self-sustaining revenue account, into account 104-15000-53403, land use self-sustaining contractual to provide the necessary funding due to the increased number of applications.
And this,
That's in land use.
Thank you, Paul. And this is a self-sustaining account, meaning that the revenues and the expenditures have to be equal. And these revenues come from, correct, Olga, from applicants that are applying, and the
Correct.
we need specialized review of the project.
It's a pass-through cost.
Yep.
in town.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Okay, Mayor, number 10, it's up to you.
Thank you, Katie. Appreciate that. As we've heard from our residents concerning Flatiron, and again, to highlight, I did speak with them on Friday, and they did inform me of a couple of things. First, they were not coming to this meeting. They were putting what's called a pause on their application, not a withdrawal, a pause. I did ask them if they were looking at additional properties. They said yes. I asked them if they could disclose those properties. They said no. I then asked them, would you release your option on the purchase of the Asperchuck Ridge property? And they said no. So that being said, we as a community, we need to be very vigilant in moving forward the process. First thing, as I told the town council at the last meeting, is we met with our legal team, and we will vigorously defend the health and safety concerns of our residents. Dan Casagrande, Joe, and Dan Casagrande is a leader when it comes to the siting council. Joe has also been to the siting council many times, Randy DeBella. Also, with your approval, I've asked that team to also make recommendations for the consultants and professionals that they have used previously, of which I'll be bringing to the town council at the next meeting, so that we are ready to go if needed, if an application does come to fruition and we have to review that. I've also asked our Department of Public Health to give me their opinion as well. I believe Amy may have given that to me hopefully today at some point, but we were closed, so maybe it'll be tomorrow. But when I get that, I'll also be sharing that with you guys as well. I've also asked our Public Works Director, Jack Healy, to make recommendations as well. Jack is versed in many expertise, and he has a wide swath of knowledge, plus his Rolodex. I know that's an old term, but all of his people in his private sector life too. So he's also going to be giving us some experts in the field who will be able to analyze this application. I will also, being if an application is put in, I will be also asking our land use boards, both zoning, inland wetlands, and planning, to review this project if it does come to fruition. The siting council does make the final recommendation, but we can review it, and they, at their deliberations or discussions, they can feel that this is a good project, a bad project, a not good project. That will go into our comments to the siting council. Also, tonight, I will be asking to suspend the rules. I will be requesting that we, as a town, put in a construction moratorium on all BESS development projects in the town of New Milford. If approved, I'll instruct the town attorney to prepare the memorandum for the February 9th town council meeting. I've also been in contact with our voter registrars of where, with this council approval, which you've already given me, I'm working with the town attorneys to come up with the proper verbiage for a townwide referendum, non-binding, that will allow us to put that into our comments of what the totality of the people of New Milford think of this particular project. So Katie, I'd like to see if we could waive or actually add something to the agenda.
I'd like to move that we suspend the rules, waive the rules, to add under number 10, Mayor's comments, an item E, which would be for what he just said, that suspend the rules to
We have to
for
suspend the rules
mo-
first.
I did that.
Yep.
But you need to know what rule we're suspending, don't you?
For the moratorium, is there a second?
Okay.
Second it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rolando.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank
Okay.
you.
Now I'd like to move. You can give the way you want to.
okay.
Why don't you put
Sure.
your verbiage in there, not
Okay.
mine?
I'd like to move that the town council approves a construction moratorium on all BESS development projects in the town of New Milford.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's what I have so far for the battery storage facility. This will again be on the next town council agenda, which will be on February 9th. Okay. Next discussion on the new House Bill 8002 and its impact on New Milford. And this I touched upon a little bit. Western Council of Governments, that's WestCog, had given us a kind of a presentation. This is still a work in progress, as this is a new bill, but some of the things that we need to be very cognizant about with this new bill when it comes to zoning, and here's some of the kind of the highlights on it, is zoning must allow 2 through 9 plexes or mixed-use developments on any commercial or mixed-use zone lot by summary review. That equals as of right. Under as of right, everything must be spelt out in advance, and they need to develop regulations for what they call middle housing. Manufactured homes. Zoning must treat all manufactured homes the same as site-built homes. Current law only requires this of such homes if they are at least 22 feet wide. 8002 eliminates the minimum width. So you'll have single-wide trailers, small manufactured homes, mobile tiny homes are now legalized statewide.
Mayor, do they reference a dimension for the tiny ones?
No, there is no dimension. Parking. No housing may be denied solely failing to conform with any requirement for off-street motor vehicle parking spaces. Unless a lack of such parking spaces will have an adverse impact on public health and safety that cannot be mitigated through approval conditions that have no substantial adverse impact on the viability of such development. For residential projects with more than 16 housing units, municipalities can require off-street parking. The requirements, though, they may not exceed the lesser of 1 space per studio, 1 bedroom, and 2 spaces, 2 bedroom units. Parking zones. A municipality can require off-street parking also for housing developments under 16 units in what they call traffic mitigation zones. But you can only have 2 zones per municipality. And each zone may be not larger than 4% of the municipality's land. OPM must be notified on the adoption of each zone. So as you notice now, a lot of these requirements you're going to hear are going to be approved from Hartford. That's what OPM is. 16 plexes fall into a legislative, municipalities may require parking for all housing developments that have more than 16 units, anywhere in the municipality have less than 16 units in a mitigation zone. You used to be able to do what's called fees in lieu of parking. So you used to pay if you want to reduce your parking, thinking that that funding can go to parking for other locations within the municipality. And that's the ability to accept fees in lieu of parking is now limited to residential mixed-use developments with at least 16 unit housing units, commercial developments. Now, what does that mean, fees in lieu of parking? There's a lack of definition. Commercial development is not defined. Is it a hospital, a warehouse, a private school, commercial? Does this mean no more fee option for these uses? No consideration for the ratio of residential to commercial. Can a big box with one housing unit attach? Can a fee, use a fee in lieu for that? And these are things that we don't know about as of yet. So these are just some of the things that we're seeing through Hartford. I know Billy's shaking his head, Mr. Buckby there as well. There's also what's called a affordable housing plan that is going to be required for each municipality by the end of June. We have the option of doing it one ourselves, or we can opt in with the Council of Governments. If we decide to do this housing plan ourselves, it still has to go to the COG and they still have to approve it. If we do not have this housing plan as of today, and maybe Billy, hopefully in Hartford, I have mailed the governor to ask for a year because this just got it. Having 169 municipalities all fighting for consultants for the same thing is going to be difficult, but if we do not meet that deadline, then housing becomes court-ordered, not here in New Milford. So I'll let you know more about that as we get through the process. So that's what I have so far as an update for HB
802.
Yep. Okay. Next, let me get my next thing, economic development. Sorry about that.
Mary Jane, is it your birthday?
Apparently. Please don't.
Why not?
Is it your birthday?
Yeah, let's
Happy
do it. I mean, she's got it already.
That's great. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mary. No, seriously, now that we know.
Okay.
Yeah, I figured it.
Quickly, economic development, the unemployment statistics for the town. The state updates these. The latest one we have is December 2025. The state's unemployment rate on average is 4.1%. In New Milford, we have 15,549 people that could be employed. We want everyone to be employed that wants to be employed. There's 14,939 residents, leaving 610 people unemployed. That would leave New Milford at 3.9% under the state average. Also, we talked last year about short-term rentals. Even though it is in the wintertime, before you know it, there'll be people looking to come and stay in our wonderful town. We started this application process. We're one of the first in the state to do so, where you can go, apply online. You can give the town to get the town seal, so to speak. And we do have 5 so far that have done this, so you can go to the town website. You can click, which is www.newmilford.org. You can click community, and on the left-hand side, short-term rentals, click there. You'll see the application, and you'll see the 5 so far. I believe we have another 1 or 2 that have brought in their application. That gets approved, and they're going to be on our preferred list. So people that are looking in the area for a rental that's been vetted, that knows that they have their safety plan in place, they have their fire extinguishers, they have their book of emergency contacts, all those things in there. These have already been vetted, and that's already up and running. And speaking of that, again, notify New Milford if you haven't opted into that service. That's a free service. You can go to www.newmilford.org. Bottom right-hand corner is the icon. Click into that, and it gives you real-time updates, whether they be weather alerts, where our crews are, unfortunate accidents, all sorts of related things that helps you as you navigate your day. And also New Milford Now, which is our community and our tourism website. You can go to www.newmilfordnow.org. It's got a lot of good community articles in there, as well as a calendar and all sorts of great things that are going on there. Couple quick updates on projects you may have seen on Pickett District and the corner of Pickett District and Route 7. All Town Markets continues with their work. They shut down their store now. They'll be, when the weather gets better, they'll be knocking that down, and then they'll be putting up the new All Town Market there, as well as an expanded station. And then right next to it, some people think it's the same project, but right next to it on Pickett District is Murphy Heating and Cooling. They're putting their headquarters in there, and they're going to put everything together, their headquarters, their vehicles, and everything else, all into one location. And that's what I got, Katie.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on, Mayor, your final, well, we've already had an E, but 10D, discussion on the FOI process.
Absolutely. Thank you, Katie. So I know this was also brought up at a little bit at public participation. And to kind of start off a little bit is Ari had talked about the FOI. And first, I'd like to read the first email that he sent to me. This was Friday at January 23rd at 9:24 a.m. Mr. Mayor, you seem to have neglected to include the attached agenda item request per the New Milford Town Charter, Section 404F. Please add it to Monday's agenda. Thank you, Ari. I think Ari has been on the council enough to know now that we do a revised agenda, and we do it every Friday. We do it around between 4 and 6 o'clock, depending on how busy our office is. And might I add, the mayor's office, other mayors, they have chief of staffs, they have all sorts of different people with them. There's 3 of us. There's me, Elena, and Pat. We do passports, we do town business, you name the gambit. Everything from people needing assistance to budgetary work that we're working on now to scheduling. That was put on the agenda, which we're talking about right now. Now, one of the things that I'd like town attorney to talk a little bit about is when you were talking about, he says here on the 16th at 10:04, I'm concerned that you appear to be in violation of Hillary Ram's Freedom of Information request. I am still learning about FOI requests, but I believe you're supposed to acknowledge a receipt within 4 days, and you're supposed to provide information within 20 days when FOI requests go unanswered. There is an appearance of impropriety. So if you notice already, if you just read this, I'm already guilty. There's no talking about anything. You're already doing this. So, first thing is, how does the town do FOI? I don't do it. We have Marchin, right? He's the one that answers it, not me. And he answers it in a generic form. I've asked Marchin if he could produce that for me, which I'll have at the next town council meeting, where it was received. That's number one. Number 2 on FOI, and I'll have our town attorney opine on that. FOI is freedom of information, but it also says in freedom of information that you do not stop what you're doing in your course of business every day and stop the business of everyday business to satisfy an FOI request. Am I correct, Mr. Attorney? Can you opine on that?
Yes, Mayor Bass. Just to provide a brief summary of the law, so under the FOI statutes, the town or any public agency must, of course, acknowledge receipt of an FOI request within 4 days of the receipt of the request. Some towns have an appointed FOI correspondent to handle these matters. To Mayor Bass's point, we do have someone who's charged with that responsibility. But the law is you must acknowledge receipt of the request within 4 days. If the request is sent to multiple departments, and there is no appointed FOI correspondent, all departments need to acknowledge receipt within 4 days. Once the FOI request is acknowledged, then the clock starts on responding to the individual, entity, whoever that submitted the FOI request. There is no explicit 20-day requirement in the FOI statutes to respond. The way that this is handled legally is it's a question of promptness. Promptness has been litigated by the state courts in Connecticut, by the FOIC. There's hundreds of decisions on what is a prompt response to an FOI request. I've dealt with this myself in my own matters for New Milford, for Danbury, for other towns, and the promptness issue is one that requires the parties to look at multiple factors, including but not limited to what other business matters may be happening simultaneous with the FOI request submission. The volume of information is relevant to an issue of promptness to decide whether a town responded promptly or not. And ultimately, if the parties disagree on the speed at which an FOI request is processed, then the requester's remedy is to go to the FOIC, the Freedom of Information Commission in Hartford, and you go before the commission. You start with an ombudsman who's supposed to look at the case and mediate it to the extent that that's possible between the parties. If there's no resolution there, then you have a hearing before the FOIC, again, on the issue of whether the agency or the town did a prompt response to the documents. And then if the parties still disagree on the decision of the FOIC, you can take an appeal to the trial court. But I just want to be clear, because I did hear this mentioned earlier, the statutes don't require satisfaction within 20 days. They do require acknowledgement within 4, and then after that, it comes down to whether the recipient of the FOI request is promptly addressing whatever is being requested. So I hope that answers your question, Mayor Bass.
Thank you.
And then,
Can I ask a question?
absolutely.
Was an acknowledgement given within 4 days?
I would not have knowledge of that.
There wasn't. There still hasn't been an acknowledgement, so it is in violation then. There's been no acknowledgement.
I have not.
This was back in December. It was literally last year.
This December, which was last month, we have a person that does do that, not me, that does do that. I have asked him to research and look at it and bring it in. I don't know why he would not have done that, because it's a pretty standard thing. Also, pursuant to the town charter, you also mentioned that you're formally requesting in the agenda meeting to include a town council vote on whether the FOI request was answered properly in the town's best interests. So FOI does not fall under the jurisdiction of this board. It falls under FOI, of which you have stated in your public comments that Ms. Ram, if she so chooses, and you said that she did, has filed a complaint with the FOI, correct?
I've heard today that Ms. Ram did file a complaint, which is certainly within our rights to do. If a party's not satisfied with the speed at which an agency or a town responds to an FOI request, the remedy is to file a complaint with the commission. And then, as I explained, there's a multi-step process before the commission renders a decision on whether the town or whatever agency was prompt.
So this does not fall within the town council purview?
The only entity that has the discretion to decide promptness is the FOIC.
It certainly falls within the purview of the FOIC, but is there anything prohibiting the town council from voting our opinion on the subject of whether this was handled in the town's best interest? There's a lot of public information that has been withheld from the public for years now, and a proper FOI request was submitted and it has been neglected.
What's the information that was withheld from public?
We will never know unless we see it.
So how would you suppose something you have no idea about?
Well, that's why you submit an FOI.
No, but you don't know what he's submitting
Sal,
for.
you know how this works.
No, Ari,
I
no,
don't
no.
think you think you're blindsiding here.
No,
Seriously.
I think you're talking about something you have no clue about. That's the problem.
Yeah, we're not going to know until we see it. We need
See
to
what?
see it. This is public information.
See what, Ari? See what?
We'll have to see. There are meeting
So
minutes.
again-
It's a 4-page request.
You're either requesting or
This
not.
isn't the
You have
time
no
to
idea
be
what we're talking about.
grandstanding
That's all I
here.
can tell you.
Could we get our attorney, Joe? Could you answer the question that was asked so we can move along with whatever we're going to move along?
Yeah, what was the question again?
Go ahead, Ari.
He
What
doesn't
was
know
your
the question.
question?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Okay.
you asked a question. Ask
He
it
answered my
again.
question.
And what did you answer, Joe? That a
I'm not
town
sure if the-
council does not, isn't involved with FOI?
If the question was whether it's appropriate for the council to vote on the promptness of an FOI, I think that was the question, right?
Is there anything prohibiting the town council from voting on whether they think this was handled properly in the town's best interest?
Well, so a couple things. That's putting the council in a very awkward legal position because it's, again, the jurisdiction of the FOIC on whether a FOI request was properly satisfied. So that would be something I haven't seen before. The council members can certainly express their opinion on the FOI request itself, but I don't know that it's, I think that'd be putting everyone in a tough spot to weigh in on the manner in which the request was filed. I'm not aware of any legal prohibition against it, but I would say that if the council made a vote on the sufficiency of the response, I would say that legally there's no there's no legal weight or legal significance to any such vote.
But there wouldn't be any legal significance to a town referendum or a town moratorium, so there wouldn't be any legal significance to this, but it would show where people stand on something, just like when we raised all of our hands opposed to the Flatiron. There was no legal significance to it, but it shows people where you stand.
Again, it's an FOI request, it's a request for public records. If the council wants to opine on the request, the town attorney is certainly not going to stop that from happening, but I think that it's not going to really, legally speaking, because I'm here to answer legal questions, legally speaking, it's not going to change the analysis that the FOIC has to do on whether the request was properly responded to.
Okay, so if a town council member puts it on the agenda, then it must be included on the agenda regardless of the legal efficacy of it. Is that not true?
So that item would go on an agenda. It depends on when the request is submitted. It could go on the next agenda.
Well, I submitted it, I showed the emails that I sent it back, it was like January 8th, I believe.
Right, I understand it's not on this agenda. It could very well be on the next agenda.
It could be, but we've got time. The night's young. I mean, it's 8:27, right? We don't have to end until 10:30.
That's not how we
right?
do it,
So-
Ari, you know that. Please, don't
Well,
be
I know how you
smart.
do it. You don't submit anything that I submit as a town council member, but that's my right according to the town charter.
And it could be on the next agenda, as our town
It could
attorney
be,
just
or it
said.
could be indefinitely deferred
But
for
you
6
don't like
years.
that answer, I'm sorry.
Of course not.
He
Because,
doesn't
I mean,
like, he doesn't
honestly,
like
we have
any
time.
answer
There's no
to begin
reason not
with.
to
He's
do
here
it
to
now.
sabotage the whole thing. You're here to sabotage, man. You
Mayor,
have no clue.
what else do you have?
I'm not here to sabotage.
your-
I'm here to defend
You
the
are.
public's right to public information
we have
that's being
spent about
withheld
half an
from the
hour.
public
I understand.
regarding the
Excuse me.
role
We do
that
not-
certain people in this town played in choosing the location of the Flatiron.
Why are you yelling?
Yeah,
why are
why?
you yelling like a child? We're grown adults here. Why are you yelling?
You know,
Because this is the town's interest.
Excuse me, Ari, but let me just say something to you. I've been on this council for quite a while, and I've had Republican and Democratic mayors that I've served under. And we don't scream at each other like you're doing.
And offend.
There are times when we say we want to say something and we say it, we have the town attorney answer it, and then you could go forward, you could call the mayor and speak with him. But the way you're talking here isn't how we comport ourselves. You want to talk about how people comport? You're not following in a nice way that we try to do this. The town is watching, we're trying to do things together. Please get in that drift. Be with everybody, be cohesive, unity, not screaming.
For the record, I've tried, I've called the mayor, I've emailed the mayor, he's ghosting me completely. And also, when you talk about unity and all that stuff, I made a motion, you all voted against it. The mayor made the same motion, you all voted in support of it. That's not unity. You could have
Gee, I
voted
don't
for
know,
What is it then? If you
Could have
voted for
amended
it?
I don't know. I don't know.
We're wasting time. Come on, people. Let's go. It's ridiculous.
I
Yep,
made everybody.
there we go.
It's ridiculous.
Okay.
He's got no point. He's
So, is there any other business right now, Mayor? We're at the end of the FOI process, or do you have more to say?
This is it. We get an answer. We're out of jurisdiction for the FOI.
Mayor,
Who's doing the adjourn?
you complete with that?
Motion to adjourn? Let's rock and roll.
So moved.
That's it.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight.
Because I
Appreciate
wrote on
it.
it. I'll email you. I have this, but I have it. I'm not really sure. Apparently this just, can I get it back to you?